Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Safina binti Muhammad Hanafi. Matrix ID I19103461. I'm also the leader from G6. Today, on this memorable day, we would like to present our group presentation entitled Interview at Sri Kancha Development Sendian Berhad. First and foremost, I would like to describe about this assignment first. In this assignment, we were required to do question interview at the company based on two questions. First, it is about the leadership and the second is managing conflicts and negotiation. So, we would like that you will enjoy our presentation today and don't forget to take some important notes. Thank you. So, I would like to describe about interpersonal conflicts management strategies. So friends, what is exactly the meaning of interpersonal conflicts? Interpersonal conflict is a normal, common occurrence in a relationships. These differences are made what people individuals. Interpersonal conflict can be healthy, but sometimes when conflict escalates or is chronic and unresolved, this can be unhealthy and stressful to a person.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Syahiratul Amirah binti Syahrul Nizam. My metric number is I19203904. So I will continue with my point, which is the conflict process. The conflict process has 5 stages, which are: stage 1 is potential opposition. The existence or circumstance that provide potential for conflict to arise is the first step in the conflict process. Conflict is the either brought about by this or given room to grow. This conflict causing a factor has been distilled into 3 broad categories, which is the first one is communication, the second one is structure, and the last one is personal characteristic. And then stage 2 is cognition and personalization. The participant to a conflict must perceive it. It all depends on how conflict is perceived to exist. Conflict is not individualized just because it is seen as such. It is the felt level when people become emotionally involved that parties experience anxiety, tension, and hostility. And then stage 3 is intention. Intention are decision to behave in particular way. They stand between a person perception, emotions, and overt behavior. 5 conflict handling intention can be determined using the 2 dimension of cooperativeness and assertiveness. And then stage 4 is behavior. At this point, conflict might be seen. The warring parties' remarks, deed, and emotion are all part of the conduct stage. This conflict-related activity are typically overt attempt to carry out the goal of each side. And then the last stage is stage 5, outcomes. Consequences are the result of the contending parties' action-reaction interactions. This consequence may be counteractive, where the conflict enhance group performance, or dysfunctional, where the conflict distract from group performance. Conflict is beneficial when its result is better judgments, promotes originality and creativity, foster group members' interest and curiosity, offer a forum for problems to be discussed and tension to be released, and encourage an atmosphere of self-reflection and transformation. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is WKU6033, metric number I1920398. So I continue with my question is, if there is conflict in the company, what negotiation process that company do to resolve the conflict? Workplace can be negative and toxic if the leaders let the conflicts by itself and never face to settle it down. To solve the conflict between workers and customers, it can be difficult if you, as a leader, never face the conflict. As a leader, you need to responsible in any conflict or problem cleverly, so then you can get respect by your workers. So there is a few ways to resolve the problem. So we go to the first point is avoid being provoked into an emotional response. Okay, first, a negotiator may challenge your competence or expertise. For example, they would say you don't have enough experience to perform a particular task. Second, anyone might demean your ideas in a way that it makes it difficult for you to respond by saying, stop being so sensitive, or things that make you feel difficult. By challenging, demeaning, and criticizing, the other party may be attempting to provoke you into an emotional response that will shift the balance of power in their favor. We can divert the move by shifting the focus back to the issue at hand. To the person who criticizes you as overly sensitive, you could say, I think it would be better if we avoid personal judgments and concentrate to the proposal. Okay, second point is discuss and resolve the problems. Not every problems or conflict can settle down in a minute. We need to discuss where and how the problem starts. If it because of the staff, we talk with the staff properly and discuss the best way to resolve the problem. But if it because of the customer, you need to meet and discuss properly at the proper place, so then you can settle down the problem nicely. My last point is respect each other's opinion. Learn how to respect different of your staff or customer opinion, so you can understand how to settle any conflict in the future. As a leader, we can see every staff have their own growth. So just learn to accept other opinion. You can see how peace and calm the situation you can control, and how positive your surrounding. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum to everyone. My name is Nur Shakila binti Muhammad Aziz. My metric number is I2024-773. So today I'm going to talk about the nature of leadership. So leadership are very important in the growth of any organizations. A leader is someone that has the ability to direct and influence others. The leader have to guide them to accomplish a common task or objective while encouraging and helping them throughout the process. Influencing the behavior of people in a manner that they strive to willingly and passionate towards the achievement of group objective are one of the leadership process. So being a leader is physically and mentally taxing profession. The leader must have the power, strength, and the ability to meet the requirements such as energy and passion to deal with mental requirements for leading. They are the real teachers of ethics, and they also carry enforce the ideas in organizations. So depending on the task to be complicated and the needs of the department, several organizations offer various leadership philosophies inside the organizations. So there are 5 different leadership skills or style in the corporate world. They are as follows. The first one is laissez-faire, second is autocratic, third is participative, fourth is transactional, and lastly is transformational. So, according to this case study, the sales executive at Sri Kalsi Development Company has shared her own leadership skill to help organize the company. So, the leadership skill that she shared is to be integrity. She helped to maintain a positive image of the company throughout his career. Second is to be flexibility. As a leader, she has to accept and good in dealing with a difficult environment or problems. A leader must be open-minded to receive suggestions and also feedback from the customers. Lastly, third is having a good communications. So good leaders can clearly explain things from organizational goals to specific tasks. So a good leader must have a variety of communication skills such as active listening, verbal communication, written communication, public speaking, presentation skills, and so on. That's all from me. Thank you. Organizations. So depending on the task to be complicated and the needs of the department, several organizations offer various leadership philosophies inside the organizations. So there are 5 different leadership skills or style in the corporate world. They are as follows. The first one is laissez-faire, second is autocratic, third is participative, fourth is transactional, and lastly is transformational. So, according to this case study, the sales executive at Sri Kalsi Development Company has shared her own leadership skill to help organize the company. So, the leadership skill that she shared is to be integrity. She helped to maintain a positive image of the company throughout his career. Second is to be flexibility. As a leader, she has to accept and good in dealing with a difficult environment or problems. A leader must be open-minded to receive suggestions and also feedback from the customers. Lastly, third is having a good communications. So good leaders can clearly explain things from organizational goals to specific tasks. So a good leader must have a variety of communication skills such as active listening, verbal communication, written communication, public speaking, presentation skills, and so on. That's all from me. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Nuraimi Jalwati binti Muhammad Rani. My matrix numbers is I19304311. Today I would like to explain about the topic yearly approaches to leadership. Firstly, I would like to explain the character leadership traits. Firstly, the character leadership traits are emotional intelligence, second, drive, third, motivation, fourth, honesty and integrity, self-confidence, cognitive ability, knowledge of the business, and the last one is charisma. I would like to explain about what's more on traits approaches to leadership. Firstly, cognitive intelligence. Cognitive intelligence is traditional measures of the ability to integrate and interpret information and predicts leadership's success. And secondly, emotional intelligence. The emotional intelligence is predicts leadership success, enables leaders to motivate their subordinates to commit to the vision, establish high levels of trust and cooperation, respond appropriately when they make mistakes.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nobadria binti Hilmi. The topic I want to share is about the LPC theory of leadership. Okay. Fiedler was the proponent of the LPC theory of leadership. It suggests that leaders' effectiveness depend on the situation and incorporates both the leader's personality and the complexities of the situation. Before this theory was called the contingency theory of leadership. LPC stands for least preferred co-worker. This theory suggests that leaders may be effective in one institution, but not in another, and goes on to explain the reason for the discrepancy as well as identifies leader situation matches that could lead to effective performance. Okay. Fiedler described 2 basic personality traits of leadership, which is task motivation and relationship motivation. The situational context was conceptualized in terms of its favorableness for the leader. Fiedler asserted for task versus relationship motivation were grounded in personality in such say that is system or constant for every leader. Okay, next, Fiedler prepared the least preferred co-worker scale to measure the degree of task or relationship motivation of a leader. In this scale, the respondents, which is leaders, asked to think of all the person with whom they have worked and then to select their LPC. Fiedler say that high LPC leaders are basically more concerned with interpersonal relations and low LPC leaders are more concerned with task-related issue. Okay. It must be noted that respondents who describe the LPC in relatively positive receive a high LPC score, and those who use relatively negative term receive a low LPC score. Okay, next, he identified the following three factors that determine the extent of favorableness of the situation. First, leader-member relations refer to the personal relationship between subordinates and their leader. The extent to which subordinates trust, respect and have confidence in their leader and vice versa. Okay, second, task structure also indicates situational favorableness. There are two structures, which is structured task and unstructured task. A structured task is simple routine, easily understood and unambiguous. Such tasks are presumed to be more favorable because the leader need not be closely involved in defining activities of the subordinates and can devote time to other issues. Okay, an unstructured task is one that is non-routine, complex and ambiguous. Okay, the leader is required to guide and direct subordinates involved in such tasks, which make it more unfavorableness. Okay, third, leader position power refers to the power inherent in the leadership role. A leader's position power is high if he or she can assign work, reward and punish employees, recommend them for promotion, which is many decisions are under the leader's control. The LPC theory predicts that if leader-member relations are poor, the task is unstructured and leader position power is low. A task-oriented leader is effective. It also predicts that if leader-member relations are good, the task is structured and leader position power is high. A task-oriented leader will be effective. Okay, for all those situations of intermediate favorableness, a person-oriented leadership is suggested for high group performance. Okay, Fiedler's theory was criticized as it was not always supported empirically, and it was found that his assumption about the inflexibility of leadership behavior were unrealistic. The theory itself, however, does represent an important contribution because it returned the field to a study of the situation and explicitly consider the organizational context and its role in effective leadership. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurbahia binti Hilmi. I want to explain about topic the best goal theory of leadership. Okay, this theory developed by Martin Evans and Robert House, and The PES goal theory focus on the leader's behavior and situation. That means the leaders can adapt easily to the different situation. This theory also explain that leaders will perform different behaviors according to the different conditions and situations. The PES goal theory makes subordinates motivated by the leader's behaviors, and it can be influenced by them. The leaders influence subordinates by explaining behaviors that can achieve a goal. This is because to achieve a goal, it depends on effective performance. Then, PES goal theory identifies 4 types of leaders' behaviors. First, directive. Which a directive leadership, the leaders let subordinates know what is task that they need to accomplish within give them a specific guidance, the schedule that to be done, and still follow the standard of performance for subordinates. Second, supportive. For the supportive leadership, the leader shows a friendly and concern about the subordinates. A leader trying to know about status, well-being, and needs of the subordinates. Third, participative. With the participative leadership, the leader consult with subordinates about issues and take their suggestion into account for before making a decision. Last, achievement oriented. When a leader involved in a subordinate's progress goal, leader also give an assessment to their subordinates and help them to perform at the higher level. The theory also explain 2 types of situational factors that influence how leader behavior relates to subordinate satisfaction. Okay, among of them, first, personal characteristic of subordinates. Second, characteristic of environment. The important personal characteristic of subordinates are locus of control and perceived ability. Okay, locus of control is referring to the individual belief that what happened to them in the work environment is from their own behavior and external cause. Perceived ability means about how people view their own ability and respect to their tasks. Besides, important environmental task structure, the formal authority system, and the primary work group. This theory said that the leader behavior will motivate the subordinate if it helps them cope with environmental uncertainty. They are having certain type of leadership make the subordinate satisfaction decrease. For an example, when task structure is high and a directive leadership is less necessary, it will influence their subordinates to have a less motivation to perform well. Therefore, the leader behavior mesh the people and mesh the leader behavior meshes the people and environment in the situation will influence subordinate motivation to perform well or not. Okay, that is explanation about the best goal theory of leadership. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Syahidah Iliana binti Ahmad Spawi. I want to talk about Bloom's decision tree approach to leadership. The third major contemporary approach to leadership is Bloom's decision tree approach. The earliest version of this model was supposed by Victor Vroom and Philip Eaton and later revised and expanded by Vroom and Arthur Jago. Most recently, Vroom has developed yet another refinement of the original model. Like the path goal theory, this approach attempts to prescribe a leadership style appropriate to a given situation. It also assumes that the same leader may display different leadership styles. But Vroom's approach concerns itself with only a single aspect of leader behavior, subordinate participation in decision making. The two decision trees are shown in slide, and the problem attribute situational factors are arranged along the top of the decision tree. To use the model, the decision maker starts at the left side of the diagram and assess the first problem at 400 attribute decision significant. The answer determine the path to the second node on the decision tree where the next attribute importance of commitment is assessed. This process continues until a terminal mode is reached. In this way, the manager identifies an effective decision-making style for the situation. Next is the 5 styles are defined as follows. First, decide. The manager makes the decision alone and then announces or sells it to the group. Second is delegate. The manager allows the group to define for itself the exact nature and parameters of the problem and then develop a solution. Third, consult individually. The manager presents the program to group members individually, obtains their suggestions, and then makes the decisions. Fourth, consult in group. The manager presents the problem to group members at a meeting, gets their suggestion, and then make the decision. Fifth, facilitate. The manager presents the problem to the group at a meeting, defines the problem and its boundaries, and then facilitates group member decision as member make the decisions.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Shafika binti Zaadi. My metric number is I19304280. The next is my topic is contemporary situational theories. Based on the premise that the most effective leadership style varies depending on the circumstance, situational theories of leadership are used. A leader needs to be flexible in order to be most effective and successful in many situations. For instance, some workers perform better when their manager have a more dictatorial and directive style. Others will have a better chance of success if the leader can take a back seat and carry out plan without direct supervision. Similar to the previous point, not all corporate environment and industry type call for the same seat of abilities and leadership qualities, while innovation is highly valued in some industry. Personal charisma and strong client relationship are significantly more crucial in others. Different theories that take into account the situational characteristics of leadership have been created. Each theory make an effort to analyze how leadership might be most effective in particular circumstances. The theories highlight four key leadership approach. First is telling, an authoritative and directive style. The team's leader make a choice and direct actions. Second is selling. The choice is still made by the leader, made by leader, but instead of just giving order, he connect with the team and tries to be persuade them. Third is participating. The team's decision making is done collaborated by the team leader and team member. He is more democratic and encourage them. And the last one is delegating. The team's leader delegates decision making auditory to team member while team monitoring their performance. That's all from me. Thank you so much.